Are you struggling to find poses that actually work for Spider-Man? Well, I've got 5 solid poses that not only look good on the shelf, but actually feel like Spider-Man himself. This is Dynamic Posing Spider-Man Edition. Spider-Man is such a unique character, full of energy, agility, and a ton of personality. He's witty, always ready with a quick quip, or joke even in the middle of a fight.
Look, I'm not just a nut and long johns, I go to college and everything.
But beyond that, he's incredibly determined and cares deeply about protecting the people around him. There is this mix of strength and vulnerability and even a bit of that nerdy, relatable side that makes him feel real to so many people, including myself.
They love me.
Growing up, Spider-Man was without a doubt one of my absolute favorite heroes, and those childhood memories really inspired me to make this video. I actually haven't made a Spider-Man video since October of last year, so I think it's about time we get back into the ring.
Take the chain off!
Hey, Freak Show! You're going nowhere!
My posing figure of choice today is the amazing Yamaguchi Spider-Man 2.0, which is one of my favorite Spider-Man figures in my collection. It has incredible articulation, accessories, and detail that will really help bring these poses to life. I have noticed a lot of people asking how to pose their Spider-Man figure in ways that feel natural and original, poses that aren't just copied from the movies or comics, but still feel true to the character. I want to kick things off with the most recognizable Spider-Man pose. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man inspires this one in No Way Home. Do you remember that scene at the Statue of Liberty where all 3 Spider-Men land before the big fight with the foes? Tobey's Spider-Man hits this really grounded crouch right before the leap into action, and I wanted to bring that moment to life with a figure and with my own spin. I went for a deep crouch with both feet planted, one hand flat on the ground, and the other arm resting casually on the knee instead of planted on the ground. It gives the pose a little extra personality compared to the usual 4-point crouch as seen in the movie and other media when it comes to Spider-Man. The figure includes a pair of wide eyes, and I used that for this alert expression, and then added a spider sense effect designed by Can of Beams just behind the head. It attaches with sticky tack, and they come in different variations which look pretty awesome. It instantly makes this figure feel alive, and it's an accessory I highly suggest for Spider-Man action figures. Getting into this pose is mostly about just finding the right balance. You'll need to bend the knees deep and take your time adjusting the arms and head angle to make it all feel natural. It's a simple pose, but one of my favorites, capturing that attentiveness we know Spider-Man for. When it comes to Spider-Man, swinging is everything. It's how he moves, how he fights, and every version of him does it differently. And if I had to pick a favorite, Andrew Garfield's style in the Amazing Spider-Man movies are the ones that stick with me the most. That opening swing through the city in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 chills every single time.
I'm lame compared, I fought a Russian guy in a rhinoceros machine.
Can we rewind it back to the I'm lame part? Because you are not.
So for this pose, I wanted to capture that same kind of energy, but with my own twist. I went with a setup where Spider-Man has a gripping hand for a web line and the other hand for firing off a second web. That little combo, swinging and shooting, it adds a ton of motion and story to this pose. To bring it to life, I also used the squinted eyes to show focus and intent, and added the web effects for the hands. Then it was just a matter of fine-tuning the curves in the body, and the stretch and bend in the legs. Getting that curve through the spine also helps make it feel like he's moving forward in motion too, a key detail of swinging poses. If you have a Spider-Man action figure, you definitely have to give this pose a try. Now this next pose is one of Spider-Man's most iconic moves, the classic web shot. I mean, web shooting is in this character's DNA, especially if you're Tobey Maguire.
Like, does it just come out of your wrists, or does it come out of anywhere else?
For this one, I went with a 3-point stance, one leg bent, the other stretched out in front of him, left hand planted on the ground, and the right arm pulled in close as he fires off a web. I used that wide spread out web effect to show it in action. It gives the pose this burst of energy, like the moment's frozen mid-move. To match that intensity, I also gave him the squinted eyes for a focused look, like he's fully locked in on his target. Accessories matter, whether it's web effects or swappable eyes, they can take a pose from looking cool to feeling alive. Our next pose is one seen throughout many iterations of Spider-Man, the classic upside down hang. It's a pose that's been used over and over across movies, games, and comics. Honestly, it's one I wish I could pull off myself. For this pose, I like to work with the figure upside down. It just helps me get the perspective right and see how it'll look once it's displayed. The arms and legs tuck in close, with just enough curve to keep it feeling natural, and that head tilts slightly as if Spider-Man is checking something out. Adding a web line to the overlapping hand finishes it off perfectly. It's simple, iconic, and a blast to create with any Spider-Man figure. We have to go with a superhero landing, also known as the three-point landing. This one's been a staple across all kinds of Spider-Man media. It's that signature pose that screams both action and impact. Spider-Man lands like this at some point in his swinging adventures. When done right, it makes for one of the coolest display options out there. For this pose, the idea is to really sell that moment of impact from when he drops onto the ground. So one hand needs to be on the ground, bent at the elbow, knees bent, hunched over, and head facing forward like he's ready to spring into action. The right arm is thrown back and bent for a natural look, while the left arm helps sell the force of the landing. That low, crouched stance with one leg bent deep and the other extended while twisted at the foot helps bring it all home, like he just hit the ground but has full composure. It's one of those poses that makes your figure feel alive, full of motion and energy. Posing takes patience, but it also requires you getting to know the character. The more you understand how your character moves, the more life you breathe into every action figure pose. And going to the source material can help you achieve some pro level poses. These 5 poses will make your Spider-Man figures come alive.